You know the feeling, right? You're so deep in something, writing, coding, painting, maybe even a video game, that hours just melt away. Your sense of self vanishes. Your fingers just seem to know what to do next, almost automatically. That's flow. And for most of us, it feels like catching lightning in a bottle. It's that rare, magical day when everything just clicks. But what if it wasn't an accident? The world's top performers, from elite athletes to master coders, don't just wait around hoping for flow, they summon it. They've learned that flow isn't magic. It's a specific state of mind that can be triggered. And in this video, I'm going to show you the simple, science-backed rituals they use, so you can turn flow from a happy accident into your everyday superpower. So what exactly is flow? The term comes from psychologist Mihaly, who studied people so absorbed in their work, they'd literally forget to eat or sleep. He called it an optimal state of consciousness, where we feel our best and we perform our best. It's that feeling of being so locked in on a task that everything else just fades away. The benefits of getting into this state are incredible, while specific numbers are often debated. Some reports have suggested that people can be massively more productive when they're in flow. More concretely, solid research has shown that flow can significantly accelerate learning, dramatically boost creativity, and supercharge your motivation. But here's the key takeaway. Flow doesn't just happen. For cognitively demanding work, it's often the result of a deliberate practice. This is where the concept of deep work, coined by Professor Cal Newport, comes in. Deep work is the ability to focus without distraction on a single, challenging task. It's the polar opposite of what many of us do all day, which Newport calls shallow work, answering emails, hopping on Slack, and just being busy. Shallow tasks don't push you. Deep work is the hard stuff. It's the focused, uninterrupted effort that stretches your skills. And it is one of the most reliable gateways to flow. The rituals I'm about to share aren't just tips. They are structured protocols designed to create the perfect conditions for flow. This isn't about just trying harder. It's about working smarter by giving your brain exactly what it needs. We're going to break this down into 3 actionable rituals. Ritual 1, the golden rule of flow. Mastering the challenge, skill balance. The most critical trigger for flow is the balance between challenge and skill. Think of flow as existing on a knife's edge between boredom and anxiety. If a task is too easy, your mind wanders. If it's too hard, you get stressed out, which shuts down any chance of focus. Flow lives in that sweet spot where the challenge pushes you just beyond your current skill level. How much is just beyond? Flow researcher Kotler suggests a helpful guideline is to aim for a challenge that's roughly 4% beyond your comfort zone. Think of a video game. It's no fun if it's too easy, and it's a nightmare if it's impossible. It's most addictive when you have to stretch just a little to win. That slight push is what hijacks your attention. Here's the ritual to find your sweet spot. First, define a ridiculously specific goal. Write the report as a vague wish, not a goal. The specific goal is draft the 700-word introduction for the report, making sure to include the 3 key data points from the quarterly analysis. This clarity gives your brain a precise target. Second, learn to adjust the difficulty as you go. As you're working, check in with yourself. Is this too easy or too hard? If your mind is drifting, add a constraint. Give yourself a tighter deadline. Aim for more elegance or precision. If you're feeling anxious, break the task down into smaller micro steps. Focus only on the very next one. This skill of adjusting the challenge in real time is what keeps you in the flow channel. Ritual 2, the cone of silence. Engineering an undistracted environment, flow follows focus. Simple as that. It can only show up when your attention is completely on the task at hand. This makes distraction the absolute arch-nemesis of flow. A single notification or a quick question from a coworker can completely shatter your concentration. There's a phenomenon researchers call attention residue. When you switch from your main task to quickly check an email, a part of your brain stays stuck thinking about that email, fracturing your focus. A study on software developers found that after being knocked out of flow by an interruption, it took an average of 15 minutes just to get back into the zone, and for most, the focus for that session was completely lost. To command flow, you have to be ruthless in your war against distractions. You need to build a cone of silence. First, a complete digital shutdown. This isn't negotiable. Before you start, turn off all notifications. Close every tab that isn't essential for the task. If you can't trust yourself, use a blocker app. It's the best move. Put your phone in another room. Second, build a physical fortress. Your brain learns from association. When you consistently work in the same dedicated space, your brain starts to link that environment with deep focus. Over time, just sitting down at your deep work desk becomes a powerful trigger for concentration. Third, create a social contract. Let people know that for the next 90 minutes you're off the grid. Put a sign on your door. The modern expectation that we should all be available instantly is poison to deep focus. To do your best work, you have to be intentionally hard to reach. Ritual 3. The ignition sequence. Launching into focus. Every rocket launch has a countdown, a precise sequence to defy gravity and achieve liftoff. Getting into flow isn't so different. The first few minutes of a work session are where most people give up. The friction of just getting started feels too strong. To get into flow, your brain eventually enters a state called transient hypofrontality, which is a fancy way of saying the part of your brain that houses your inner critic and your sense of time quiets down. But to earn that, you first have to fully engage the front part of your brain with intense focus to push through the initial resistance. You have to lean in before you can let go. Its ritual, the ignition sequence, is designed to do just that. It starts with a pre-work routine. This is a simple 2 to 5 minute series of actions you do every single time before a deep work session. It could be clearing your desk, making a specific cup of tea, doing a few quick stretches, or listening to the same song. The actions themselves matter less than their consistency. This routine is like a starting pistol for your brain, signaling that it's time to focus. Next, make a 10-minute commitment. The biggest battle is just starting, so make the initial goal laughably small. Promise yourself you'll work on your one specific task for just 10 minutes, without interruption. Anyone can do 10 minutes. The secret is that the momentum from those first 10 minutes is usually enough to launch you into a full, productive session. The goal isn't to work for 10 minutes, it's to start for 10 minutes. Finally, here's a more advanced technique: flow anchoring. After a great flow session, take 30 seconds to note what worked. What time was it? What was the task? What did you do right before you started? Keep a log. Soon, you'll see patterns emerge, giving you a personalized blueprint for recreating the perfect conditions for flow. So let's pull this all together. Flow is not some random event you have to hope for. It's a trainable state of high performance you can learn to command. By mastering the challenge, skill balance, building your cone of silence against distractions, using a consistent ignition sequence to launch your focus, you're building the architecture of peak performance into your daily life. You're no longer waiting for inspiration to strike, you're creating it. You now have the tools to get into flow. But the next step is learning how to stay there longer.